Good morning, everyone. This is Rutuja Dalvi, your host for this meeting. I am a course coordinator at Alternate Angle Academy, and I welcome all of you at this session held by us. We are a knowledge sharing platform for a built environment. As Academy, we aim to create a learning where senior professionals working in the industry share their practical knowledge with the participants. We have had this meeting in the morning already, and there was some technical issue, so it could not get recorded. So, for the benefit of those who could not attend it or the ones who had to miss some part of it, we are recording the session again. Um, so this is a preview session for project cost control through design and material, and it will be conducted by our mentor, Ms. Architect Snehal Jagdare Surve. She is here with us and she is joining us from Mumbai. Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Ritika.
I'll give a brief introduction about Snehal, ma'am. Uh, First of all, ma'am, thank you so much for being here. It is a pleasure to have you. Uh, Ms. Snehal Jagdare Surve has over 20 years of professional experience as an architect and planner in India as well as USA. She is currently co-founder and director of Alternate Angle Architects Private Limited. She has experience in project design, management, and coordination on various types of projects, including residential, commercial, and institutional, plus master planning projects. Ms. Nehal has done her Bachelor's of Architecture from Mumbai University in India and her Master's in Community Planning and Urban Planning specialization from University of Cincinnati in USA. Snehal ma'am has worked on stages of projects from inception to execution and various scales of projects. She has worked on consultancy firms, corporate houses L&T Larsen and Toubro as a principal architect and as a director of her own architecture and planning consultancy. She is also a passionate educator and is involved as a visiting faculty in Architecture College in Mumbai region, and that is the reason we are having her here today. Today, she'll just give us an outline, a brief about how the actual 6 week course is going to go. What exactly are the contents that will be covered, and it will be followed by a question and answers round. So, without any further ado, ma'am, I would like you to take over from here. All the
Thank
best.
you. Thank you, Rituja. Thank you very much for your introduction. Quite an elaborate one, I would say. Yes, so as Rituja said, I have been working in different kinds of organizations throughout my professional life, like consultancy. Then I have worked in big consultancies, then corporate places. Even now, as my own architecture firm that I'm working with, everywhere in all different kinds of projects that I've worked with, from a small residential bungalow to a multi building layout or a master plan, institutional projects, everywhere and every scale of project that I have worked on, and every type of client that I have dealt with, I come across the same question, or as consultants, we all do that. That what is the cost of the project? How are we going to control it? And this is a major question that we all face as professionals. So once we have allocated a budget or a budgetary amount for a project, it becomes very important for everybody to stick to that budget or fit our project within that budgeted amount. So now, cost of the project is a very broad term. It spans across the entire project duration, and there is not every aspect we cannot control as a consultant. But to start with, we should have a good intent to stick to the budget or stick to the cost. And if that intent get transferred from one phase to the another phase of the project, I think it gets percolated into the entire team and the project team that is working from right from the consultant to the site. And ultimately, then we are able to achieve the project which is within the budget or within the cost that we have already decided. Now, if we can meet the cost or finish the project in that budget, it's very good. But in case if we are giving some added, added benefits or added elements in the project within the same budget, it becomes an excellent project, and the client will surely come back to you for another one. So, as a consultant, our expertise are judged by whether we can complete our project within the stipulated cost. And cost is a very broad term, so it involves quality, it involves time. This is the major question which I have faced, and I'm sure all of you must be also facing that. So, to answer this question, this course is curated. So, today I'm going to share different aspects of this word called cost and my thinking behind how I have curated this course. So, and each session is going to be planned like that. I'm going to talk about it as the presentation progresses. So to start with, I feel that our building projects are a commodity or a product that is built by us and used by our clients or the users of the project. So now, if we look at any commodity or any product, so let's take a very simple example and let's analyze it from a product point of view. So let's take some parallel example of a product that we all use. So I think one of the thing that I feel everybody is being a user of that commodity is clothes. So we all buy clothes. So I just wanted to start with this analogy that when you go to buy some clothes for yourself, what do you look for? So I'm just going to share my presentation here and we'll start with that thought. So I hope you can see my presentation. So here are just examples of different apparels which are there in the market. And when you go to buy a set of clothes for yourself, what do you look for? So if I see at what I look for, first of all, we all will agree that we look for a purpose. Why are we buying those clothes? Are they for work? Are they for your workout sessions, yoga, things like that? Or is it for an event or an occasion? Or is it just for a casual wear? There are different occasions when we buy clothes and we have a purpose of why we want to buy it. Then the second thing we look for, if it's something for the event, we look for how is the detailing done on the clothes, how is the embroidery or how is the work done on the clothes. Then one thing is if we are looking for a gym or a workout sort of clothes, so we look at whether the cloth, what is the quality of the cloth, is it going to withstand the stretching and strains that we are going to we are going to insert on the clothes. So all these things are also there. Then if we are going for a work related clothes, then we look for is it good cut, is it good fabric, is it is it fitting to our purpose? And also one more thing with all these commodity is whether it is looking good on me or whether it is suitable for me. And of course, very important thing is we look at the price tag and we look at the cost, how much is going to cost us. So all these factors are deciding factors for us to purchase the product. So as a buyer, we are looking at so many parameters. And a buyer for our product, that is our buildings or our structures, it's a big ticket price, much more than clothes. But still, a buyer would want all these parameters into their product also. So we see as a user, we are so demanding from a product, and similar way our clients are also demanding. But for a building or a structure, we are on the other side of the table. We are providers, or we are from the manufacturing side. So we have to fulfill the demands of our clients. So it is very important to understand what they are looking for in the project. So what I feel is when a project comes to you, first thing that we have to understand is what are the aspects of the project. So in the same way, if we tie it up with the or the purpose of the project, it is a high-end project, or is it a self-use, or is it used for, it is being built for selling? Is it a landmark project where the client wants to showcase the image of his company, or his his corporate, or some city wants to build something that is related to the image of the city? So is it a landmark project? Is it promoting a cause? So all these things we have to understand, and that becomes the purpose or the intent of the project. Then secondly, architects are very much are responsible for the aesthetics of the project. So that becomes an important factor too, how the building is looking, how the aesthetics of the building are. Then functionality, it is very important for the user of the building, whether the building or the structure is functioning well. Then working, so the working is related to, is the work building working well in terms of spaces, in terms of systems that we are providing? So are the system functioning well? Are they working together? They are compatible with each other? So that is the working of the project. Sustainability, what is the environmental impact of this project, and is it fulfilling the user's need or the client's need? And then ultimately, what cost is there of the project? What is so that becomes a more important and the most important aspect, and everything is important and for the project. So all these aspects, oh, no, it so we have to balance all these aspects. All these aspects have its own importance. We cannot leave any of them behind while doing the project. But what importance we should give to which aspect is the entire crux of this course that I'm trying to curate here. Uh, so, but and how do you achieve the balance? This is the main question which is going to be answered in the course. So we have to first understand the complete process of designing the building, of taking the building from design to the site. Okay. So once we understand different stages of it, we can then break down the process into smaller parts, and maybe we can work out a formula for each stage where we are addressing the cost and the intent of the project. So this is what we are going to do in our course. We are going to is related to that aspect. So this is the course structure and the thinking behind the course. So the first thing that we look at a building is the appearance of the building. So if you break down the appearance of the building, that's the first thing that strikes us is what is the design of the building? How is the form? Is it a tall building or a small building? Is it big or a small project? So kind of form defines, or the design defines a major component of appearance of the building. The second thing that strikes us in appearance of the building is what is the finishing? How is the finishing given? What and the third is what is the quality of project? So the quality is not just about construction quality, it is the quality of life that the project is bringing to the residents or the user of the project, and what kind of spaces we are giving them. Is it improving their life style a bit, or is it impacting the quality of life that they are living over there? So this is the quality and quality aspect of the appearance. So all these three aspects are very important in contributing to the appearance of the project. And what we are going to learn in this course is how to optimize all these three different elements of the appearance, and how to balance between these contributors. So what should be more important in a project and where it should go? So now this understanding of balance ties us back to the intent of the project. What is the intent we started the project? So and this intent is should be reflected in the project right from the beginning of the project, right from the design stage. Okay, so any type of project that we are doing, the quality should be a priority, because if we fail giving a quality product, everything will fail. A good design will fail in lack of quality, best material will fail, and even the best intent will fail if quality of product is not good. So the quality of any project, irrespective of its scale or the budget, it should be not compromised. So to maintain the quality, I think there are two factors that contributes to the quality. What is in our control as a consultant? First is design. So in design, we should be giving quality spaces. We should be giving enhancing the life of the people living there. And it is reflected through our concept and schematic drawings. And it should again be with marrying with the intent of the project. And the second thing, once we have designed the project, it gets reflected, it should get reflected into our drawings. So because the drawing is one medium where we are going to express our intent, our thinking behind the project. So to maintain a good quality of drawing and to give good quality of drawing is very important to maintain the quality of the project and to ensure that the intent of project is getting transferred from within your mind or within your conscious or within from the discussion between you and your client to the other consultant. So the design development stage is very important, and the quality of drawing that we are producing over there is very important. And this is what we are going to talk about in our second session. Um, and I'm also going to talk about what should be the content and intent of your drawings. I'm going to share with you some of the checklist so that if you follow that checklist, most of your design will be having all the related information, and it will certainly have a quality which is better, and which can be a quality drawing to be transferred to your consultant. So going to the third phase of the project, which is finishing identification optimization. If you see the two images that I have here, both of them have similar design, but both of them give us a different appearance or a feeling. And this is because of the finishing that has been used in both the projects. So choosing the right finish, identifying it is a very important aspect of a project to maintain the quality as well as fulfilling the intent of the project. So what are the aspects which are important for while choosing the finishes? So finishes basically contributes to the aesthetics of the building. So how does it appear? Finishing are important for that. How does the project feel? How does it look? Then what is the durability of the finishing that you have chosen? How long it will last? Whether it's a finish that is going to be for the lifetime of the project, or is it a short-term finish that you might change after a period of 1 or 2 years, like a wallpaper or a paint or something. So we are going to look into that durability of the finishes and what should be prioritized. Then, of course, what is the cost of the finishes, and whatever we are spending, is it contributing to the appearance of the building? If it is, then it is worth spending more. If it is not, then not spend much on the finish, on that particular finish. Okay. Then the third part is we are talking about the quality here. So the environmental impact of finishes is also important. The finishes finishing is giving a type of environment or type of it's quality of the user. So is it environmental friendly, or it's safe for your user? And what happens if it is a short-term product and you're going to dispose it off? Is it going to harm the environment? Because now that affects the quality in large, but still it's a concern of us as consultants. So we are going to learn about optimization of the finishes and how to choose finishes, how to apply those finishes and where. And this thinking of choosing finishes, we have put a lot of thoughts maybe in our project that what finishes we should apply where, but how to convey this information effectively and in a very proper way or a very readable way to your client and to the site team. There is going to be a tool which I'm going to share with you that is called Finishing Matrix, and we are going to look at few examples of Finishing Matrix. We are going to study about it, and also a small exercise where you can develop your own finishing matrix and we can discuss about it so that you understand it better. This is the part of this third session that we are going to do in the course. Then as after we have decided the design, we have done the drawings, we have done the finishing as architects, the project is pretty much ready to leave the office and go into consultant's office. So this is where I call that the baby is leaving the house. So when the baby is in our control, we know what to do with it, and how it behaves, we understand it very well. But when the project is going out of the office, the drawings, the design, and the finishing that you have chosen and how it is being reflected is what is read by the consultant. You are not always there to explain it. And now it is going to other consultants. So the next stage we go to is consultant coordination. Well, this image is from a Marvel Studio, one of the very famous movies, and I couldn't find a better example to put my point forth than this poster. So over here, as in project, we have different consultants who are expert in their own job, and like here all the superheroes have have their powers and they contribute to a unified cause. So similar way, all our consultants are having this expertise and their knowledge with themselves, and they holistically everybody plays their part and contributes to the project. And if you remove any of the consultant or any of the expert from this project, the project will not be as good as it's supposed to be. So this is a very important aspect of the project, that whatever your intent or the of the project or the quality that you have been maintaining for a project gets percolated to the consultant also. So we are going to talk about how to start coordinating different for coordination, and how to get the consultant on board, right from the inception or right from the beginning of the project or at the appropriate time that they are supposed to come in, and again explain them the intent, take them on board completely, and not give them selective information. To be our fourth session. And once the coordination is done, the project is goes to we have a coordinated set of drawings, and the project is now for the materials that we are going to apply. A material specification plays a very important role, because now that becomes a communication between a design team and the site team. So this is what we are going to do in this session, fifth session, where the project now goes out in the form of a list, a drawing list of items, finishes that you have chosen, coordinated drawings, and also material specification. So here we are going to learn about what are different kinds of specification, what is preferable or what is fitted to your project or specifically the project that you're handling. What are the items to be covered in specification? What should be the content? Like, specification consists of different materials that you're using. Then how should be the workmanship? What are the methods of applying, and also the tests that should go with that material? So we are going to discuss about general knowledge of what specification should include, how to write them, and general sources of where to find it. And since just specifying material is not enough to control the cost, we are just going to briefly touch upon the rate analysis, what aspects contribute to the rates. So there are different aspects that contributes to the rate depending on the locality. So what is the material cost, the transportation and labor, and there are different aspects. So we are going to touch upon it. And in this session, just to clarify, we are not going to talk about rate of any particular material, because rates are very, as I told you, it's very specific to the location that and the quantity that you are purchasing. But we are going to understand this aspect, so that when a project comes, you have to do the project, you will understand this aspect and apply that knowledge to your project. And ultimately, uh, this what we talked about in the very beginning, what are the aspects of the project? They are on the left side: intent, aesthetics, functionality, working, suitability, and cost. And we are going to address all these aspects through our design, finishes, and quality aspects. So now we are going to tie it up. This is the entire thinking behind the course, and this is what we are going to do. If you go to the website of Alternate Angle Academy, the details of the course are given over there. It starts next Sunday, and all the details are given. The sessions are also described over there, so you can go through the each session, click on that, and you can read about the sessions, which are which I just explained. But this is for your reference. So that's it from my side, and. There were few questions, so I'm going to ask Rutuja to just help me out with the questions, and we'll also, share those questions and answers with you. Read out the
Yeah,
questions.
sure. First of all, ma'am, thank you so much. It was a very interesting presentation, and personally, the Avengers example was my favorite, as I hope everybody else's. So let's just start with the questions. Some of our participants have some questions. So the first question is from Gayatri. Are we going to discuss various materials and their rates?
Yeah, as I answered, Gayatri, rates are very subjective matter. So we might do a small research individually. You can take up a small material and you can find out what are different finishes or available. Like if you take a paint, what are different paints and rates available for that. But as I told you, rates are very subjective to the location and the quantity that you're buying. So we will understand different aspects of the rate analysis, and it will help you decide on what is more suitable. And every material that you buy, if it's a high end project, it's not necessary that you buy a very costly product for the entire project. We can, when we are talking about optimizing a certain finish, we can see where a costly paint is adding to the appearance and where it is not. So at the places where the places are not seen by anybody, we don't spend on the costly materials. So that rate that you're talking about is time we are trying to control the cost. So we can use a material that is available to us at a lesser rate at the places which are not seen, and maybe where they are seen we can apply or add value to the project. We can use a much higher end product. So this is the way we are going to address about rate analysis and different materials, because materials as such are, it's a very wide range. So we'll understand how to choose material per se.
I hope that answers Gayatri's question, ma'am. The next one is from Saili. What is your take on clash detection software and use?
Yeah, Gayatri, clash detection softwares are, there are many softwares available. There are many methods of doing it. It sometimes it's they're costly also, and it is very important that all the consultants are using that same software for that particular project. If we talk about coordination, we are going to talk about how to resolve clashes. It can be with a simple technique of manually looking at the drawings and detecting clashes. It can be through CAD. and can be through sophisticated software such as BIM. So BIM is not feasible for all scales of the project, or and as you, but it is of course needed in a big project when you're doing an airport project or a railway station or a very big project. It is manually impossible to detect clashes in that project. So over there, BIM is certainly a lifesaver. But in smaller projects, it becomes unaffordable. It increases the cost of the project to get that software, and all the consultant might not be using it. So we will understand the basis of how to detect clashes, and that understanding can be applied with the help of any tool. You can do it manually or CAD or BIM. So first, we will just go with the basic understanding of how to detect clash. That's what we're going to. Does that
Okay, ma'am.
answer?
Uh, yeah, I hope. Yes, sure. And the last one is from Gayatri. What will be discussed in consultant coordination session?
Yeah, consultant coordination is a vast subject, but we are going to talk about different roles of different consultants, when they should be on board, how to communicate with them, what should be the flow of drawings from how it should flow from architect to consultant and back forth, how it should go through that through this entire process. So we are going to talk elaborately on that. And if there are any doubts, it's a live session, so we can always interact and resolve your doubts over there.
I hope this is it for today. Before we end up the lecture, I'll just like to take 2 more minutes of you guys. First of all, ma'am, thank you so much for such a wonderful presentation and a very brief question and answer round. I hope all of the questions were
Thank you.
answered. I'll just talk about the course. As ma'am already mentioned, it is starting from 23rd May, that is next Sunday. It will be at the same time, that is 10 a.m. IST, Indian Standard Time. It will be conducted for 2 hours for next 6 Sundays. All right. The bookings are open for the course. Most of you all have already registered. If you have not, then please register yourself. And as soon as you pay for the course, your seat will be confirmed. The course was actually 4,720. Its actual costing was 4,720, but considering the COVID situation and the impact it is having on all of us, we have slashed the prices by 50%. So now you can book the same course for 2,360. Uh, so yeah, I guess that is it about today. I hope to see you all next Sunday. And if you guys have any difficulties while registering for the for the website or for the booking your slot for the course, you can just write to us. You can email us, or you can just WhatsApp us on the number 9819 006161. I hope that's it for today. We can conclude this session. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
Thank you.
so much again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rituja. Thanks. It was a pleasure.